We get into game one here on Gresvan. Map number one of our grand finals. In the upper left-hand corner, we've got the red Zerg player representing Dragon Kitesy Gaming. It's Dark. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner in the blue. To the new team, Twisted Minds. It's Classic. Pretty sure it was called Twisted Minds. Glad Classic finally got picked up by a team. Been so long teamless. Did he just attack his own Nexus? What? He was like rude Nexus. Didn't chrono boost fast enough. Dark deciding to go for some early pool shenanigans here. Doing the good old 12 pool. I love Dark so much. Classic drops down a second gateway here. Corona boosting out this Zealot. Drops out another pylon as well. And the Cybercore wants to try to close this off. Walling as best as he can around this hatchery in his wall. Now this hatchery is planned on being canceled. You can keep it. There's a world in which you keep it. Oh, Classic maybe just realized there's two holes in this wall. That is a bit unfortunate. The Lings are here. Ideally, I think Dark would cancel this hatch and be able to dive into the wall. It's meant to make the walling basically impossible. And as we see here, Classic is struggling to re-wall. Dark, though, letting it finish, it looks like, or at least continuing to let it grow. Second Zealot will get out. And it's going to go ahead and hold position here against these Zerglings. Hatchery is taking some damage from this Zealot. It's good positioning from Classic, but that means he can't do anything to defend this Cybercore. Trying to drop some shield batteries, but there it goes. The hatchery finishes up, and it's going to start spreading creep here. Of course, it can also produce Lings and Queens. Dark is completely all in. He is on 12 workers, and he is just building as much stuff as he can. It looks like the Cybercore is going to go down. Classic has a full re-wall behind it, though, including a new Cybercore. He does only have one gateway, though. Very painful. Warp gate going to be canceled. But no Cybercore means no more shield batteries either. But actually, Classic's got a lot of stuff here. This is looking pretty solid for him. We'll have to see if Dark can bust through. The Queen is going to pop out. Skates away from these units on that creep. Oh no, the Adept. Oh, diving for the creep tumor, gets it. Can it get out of there too? It looks like it's heading towards the other side of the map actually. Oh, Classic really wants to kill this hatchery. He absolutely will get it. It looks like one Zealot's gonna get caught in the meantime. Ooh, no, but it sneaks out of there. Classic really dependent on these shield batteries. I don't think this one can reach him right now. The Adept comes back, though. And that Adept coming home is beautiful. Classic looks like he's held. Oh my god, the creep tumor got down. That creep tumor actually finished. I cannot believe it. This is so annoying for Classic. Yeah, but it looks like this guy was left all on his lonesome. So the Spine Crawler is going to get taken down. Can this Queen make it home? This is the real question. Can the Queen? She's walking. She's going. She's trying. She is striving to get home. I believe in her. You get there. You do it. Wow. This is truly inspirational. I mean, listen, if this Queen can make it home, you can do those chores that you've been putting off. If this Queen can make it home, you can pick up that hobby that you bought a bunch of stuff for but never actually started doing. If this Queen can make it home, you know what? You can finish that book that you've been meaning to read. If this Queen can make it home, you can go to the gym. You know? You can do it. God, This is so inspirational. This is just... It's just beautiful, man. It's just beautiful. Made it home. Look at all this energy it has. Just gonna poop out creep everywhere. This queen made it home to poop, and that means so can you. Dark, truly an inspirational player. Classic's gonna counter by doing a disruptor drop, which is, I kind of love it, but I also kind of feel like if Classic did any sort of heavily aggressive move here, Dark would just be fully dead. Because Dark is just balls to the wall economy right now. Dark's doing the like vibe 2016 move, just going no gas to three hatch, 46 drones, finally mining gas in the main now. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But if Classic just like charge lot all in, Dark would be dead. Like right about now, Dark would just die. So it's kind of funny. But Classic's playing a more conventional follow-up here. Going into Colossi, he's got the Forge, the third base is coming up. The Disruptor drops is kind of fun, though. We'll see if he can get anything done with it. Ooh, gonna go for the Queens. Gets one of them. The other two stay alive to honestly do a little bit of damage to this guy. Prism taking some hits. Have to be careful with that. Dark just continuing to drone behind this. I mean, the thing is, having a bunch of extra units out doesn't really help him here, so the Lings are going to be the best bet. They're not going to have speed for a while, and I love how Classic is maybe just now realizing this. Ooh, that was 8 drones going down, and 2 Adepsorp, and the Queens need to get here. I mean, maybe Dark does need some more units out, because... Oh my god, he shades away as well. 2 Adepts getting into the natural. I feel like there might be 2 Adepts somewhere else too. Disruptor Nova's getting sent out. 21 drones have now died. Those Adepts are finally cleaned up. The Adepts that ran home, I think, maybe got there. Recall on the Prism gets it out. 21. That is actually insane. Despite all that work Dark did trying to drone up, he's not on a much better worker count than Classic right now. He had a big economy boost, but yeah, Classic took a lot of that back. There is a Spire on the way, though. Was the Spire scouted? I'm pretty sure those Adepts were right there and saw that little Spire brewing. Saw it brewing. There's Stalkers warping in now. Templar Archives on the way, or a Twilight Council on the way, rather. I imagine Classic will get into Blink, and I do think a Templar Archives will be coming up. If he'd noticed that Spire. Yeah, okay, there it is. Classic's going to move out. There are 12 mutas on the way, though. This Blink is too late, actually. Classic needs to get cannons and shield batteries in every single mineral line. 12 mutas is a lot. This is actually very scary for Classic right now, and he does not realize it. He is pushing onto creep with not enough to kill 12 mutas. Oh, and these Lings are coming up. Disruptor Nova trying to hit, guys. Colossi and Disruptor Novas do not win against mutas. Guardian Shield trying to help out here, but there's just not enough anti-air. Ooh, all right, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Guardian Shield's pretty good. Damn. Classic somehow winning that fight. It really looked like Dark was going to have enough. He's got 13 more mutas in production, though. +1 is halfway done. He is not stopping these mutas. Wow, these hallucinated stalkers are really trying to kill that overseer. Hallucinations should be able to kill changelings. What do you guys think about that? Imagine getting hit with nothing and dying. Classic now has a decent amount of Blink Stalkers, 16, but there are 21 mutas in the sky. This is a serious flock of mutas right here. This is the real deal. It almost has +1 too, and Dark is going to try to sneak in here, find an angle that these Stalkers maybe aren't expecting. There's one cannon in this middle line. That is not enough against this many mutas, though. Oh, the blink forward. I feel like the mutas can fight that, but they want to be a little bit careful. Oop. Uh-oh. Dark just recall. Just recall. Oh, wait. Hex W. Whew. Nice hold in the wall there. Dark tries to sneak through. Doesn't quite work. Tries to distract from these mutas. Muta's going to try to sneak out through the middle. Nope. Whoop. 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 All right, never mind. They're going to stay right there. Oh, the second flock of mutas. You thought there were only 20 mutas. No, there's 32. We've got a second flock. That means you can leave this one empty because this clearly is now over here. Oh, man. Dark fooling them. Nobody would expect me to make 800 mutas. Therefore, if I make 800 mutas, I'll win the game. I don't know. It might work. It might work. There's a Corruptor coming out now. Is there a Greater Spire? No, there's no Greater Spire. He's been upgraded. There's no Hive. Dark usually very quick to a Hive. Not this game. This game, a bit weird, bit wonky. What's the muta count? 38. Just a cheeky 38. 5 more on the way. Don't forget that one Corruptor. You know, that Corruptor it's going to be useful. This is actually insane. There's so many mutas. Jesus. I think this is 36 mutas in this flock alone. That's actually insane. That's too many mutas. Too many. He still has more in production. He's still going up in muta count. Stalker count up to 34. There are Phoenixes coming out now for Classic. 2 at a time with the Fleet Beacon on the way. I love this. Guys, when was the last time you saw any Impulse Crystal Phoenixes against mutas? It's been so long. Oh, these guys giving it to us. That's beautiful. The recall to get the Prism here so that it can immediately die to the mutas. Nice recall, bro. Oh, man. Muta's very close to having +2. The Phoenix is coming out to play here. It's only 4 of them right now. A couple more joining up shortly. But that's going to force maybe more Corruptors or maybe not. There's one Corruptor out already. Any Impulse Crystals is on the way. That'll give the Phoenixes 1 extra range. Starker's taking an okay fight there. 4th base for Classic is it's still up, but he's down a lot of workers. Turns out when you lost, 15 more probes. Oh, man. Woo. You just come in. You just go out. Oh, grab a Phoenix, though. That range not quite done yet. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The mutas have hit the main. They do not care about any of this, and any Impulse Crystals denied as the Fleet Beacon gets taken down. Stargate's getting depowered here. The Phoenixes not getting their juice that they needed. This is actually insane. The muta count's still at 37 after all of that. Classic kind of getting picked apart here. He does have a big army, though. 101 army supply. But you can't... I don't think you can base trade against this. I feel like this many mutas, you can't. 10 more mutas in production. +2 attack is done for them. +1 carapace on the way. The Stalkers do finish up +3 attack, though. That will help them quite a bit. Phoenix is starting to come out again, but there's enough Corruptors here where the Phoenixes are struggling a little bit against them. The Corruptors just auto-target and kill those Phoenixes straight up. The mutas, in the meantime, trying to kill the Stalkers. Down to 27 mutas. Oh, 26. It's okay. There's 14 more being made. This is actually insane. Oh, my God. Like 10 more mutas join up with the flock. And Classic, again, has to be careful. Oh, man. Let's take a look at the resources lost. Definitely in favor of Classic, but not by a ton. 1,500. His 4th base, again, not able to mine. In the meantime, Dark, chilling on 6 bases right now. 79 workers. His economy is just blasting forward. And these mutas are happy to take trades that maybe aren't the best, but he can afford it. He's got so much money. Look at his bank. He's maxed. Classic falling under 100 supply here. 10 more mutas on the way. And Dark winning this game with pure muta. off the back of a proxy hatch 12 pool. GG. What an absolute Chad move from Dark. That is that is not fair. Oh my god. And I mean, a perfect counter to a robo follow-up, which I feel like is probably the least likely option there for Classic. But yeah, you went for those disruptor drops, and Dark was like, I know what disruptors don't do. Shoot up. Nothing from the robo does. Classic got caught completely off guard by those mutas. It's insane. You know, you very seldomly see mass muta. It's a really fun strat to watch. It's pure pain to play against. Classic was in absolute agony that whole time. And the thing about mass muta that's really scary is it's always like inches from disaster. It's one of the most like fragile but very expensive army comps. If not the most, like the biggest combination of that. It's so fragile and it's so expensive. Each unit is 100. And they will clump, and man, if you clump and run into an Archon, the game could just end like that. It's so crazy fragile. It's on a knife's edge. As Dark, you just have to know exactly which fights to take and which fights to run away from. It's wild. Oh, I'm so happy we got to see that. Any impulse crystals denied. If that finishes up, Classic has a much better chance at holding on. That extra range makes those Phoenix so much better against the mutas. It makes them fight better against the Corruptors and able to micro a little bit more against all that. Without it, they're just not great. But game number 2. I actually just can't believe that game started with a 12 pool proxy hatch. It's just insane. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have our red Zerg player not afraid to get down and dirty. It's Dragon Kitesies, Dark. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner on the sharp end of that stick. It is Twisted Minds, Classic. How many mutas were built? That's a good question, actually. That's a good question. I do not know. I would wager it was around 100. I mean, he was sitting in the high 40s for a little bit. And, you know, I just don't know. I didn't check how many mutas had died in that game. So many. But here's a fun thing. If you're looking at that and you're like, man, I play Zerg. I wish I could play Mass Muta like Dark. I want to learn how to do that build. 12 pool proxy hatch opener into Mass Muta. Well, I have a fun fact for you. You could get your hands on that very replay just a few hours after this tournament ends tonight by becoming a patron. Even for just $5 a month, although you are free to subscribe for more than $5 a month if you want to support Korean StarCraft even harder. But I will send out every single replay pack every single week. All the replays we can get our hands on here, which includes the finals, the semis, anything you see casted will be available to you as a patron. Lucky you. Wow, wow, wow. My big shill for the night. VTubers and even the French are welcome to become patrons. Now, we don't usually open it up to VTubers or the French, but for this, we're willing to. Special. You buy one, get one if you're a VTuber. Buy one, get one. If you buy one for the price of 2, you'll get 2. Crazy. It's crazy how it works. This game looking much more normal at the start, though. I'm happy to report. As much fun as the 12 pool proxy hatch was, it's nice to pull it back, have a bit more of a normal, standard game here. Classic going for a Stargate opener. A great defense against Mass Muta. Honestly, Probably the #1 reason Stargate builds are so common is because if you open Stargate, your opponent's basically blocked from going Muta. At least for a long while. It becomes much more difficult for the Zerg to go Muta. If you open Robo, Muta's a great response. I don't know why for a second I thought that was a second Stargate. Like just the positioning of it, and I got really excited. It's like, oh man, Classic giving us Phoenix play, or maybe double Oracle production. I haven't seen that in a long time. Have you guys seen like a double Stargate Oracle build? I feel like it's been a while. Those used to be super fun. You'd see them, they were pretty rare, but like every now and then a player would just do the double Stargate, and it would be 2 Stargates building Oracles tasteless. As it is, just the single Oracle gets the single drone kill. Oh no! The Adept walked out from her little hidey hole here. Got taken down by the Zerglings. Looks like the pylon will live though. The other Adept comes down with the Oracle buddy. Big brother Oracle. Twilight Council build here from Classic. Looks like it's gonna be some blinkers. Dark going straight into a lair off of just Link Queen. Oracles get a couple of kills, but that last Spore Crawler shot. Getting an Oracle, not particularly ideal for Classic. Not the end of the world, but you don't really want to lose an Oracle for, was it like, 6 drones? It's not great. Not great, unfortunately, for Classic. But, you know, Blink on the way. I imagine we'll see a Forge go down fairly soon for that +1. Kind of interested in what Dark is going to respond to this with. Evo Chamber coming down. I imagine it's going to be a +1 melee. Dark likes to play that very heavy Ling composition. And heavy Ling is... it can be very strong. It's something that you can really only do if you're very good at your injects, which obviously Dark is. A couple more Adepts come in, but only get 2 more kills. Good defense from Dark. Dark has done a great job defensively. Gets the scout to confirm what it is, and he's going Mutas again. Oh my god. Dark, you absolute madman. Oh, this is beautiful. We have 1-1 on the way for Classic. So Classic, not messing around. Double Forge here. I do like that. Slightly later Forge, but going for the double Forge. Getting 1-1 out. Blink being chrono boosted as he takes the 4th base. Classic's going to be in a much better position to deal with Mutas this game. Dark's not going to be able to build 12 Mutas into 8 more Mutas into like... he's not going to have that... quite that ability this game. As this Spire finishes, it looks like he'll probably be at around 10 Mutas coming out. But you know what? As I say that, he's got a 4th base up. He's got a 5th base on the way. If he gets those gases saturated, full saturation here, he's going to have a lot of Mutas out very quickly. And there are the initial 8 Mutas. Let's see if he starts up +1 on this Spire. I think if he was going to, he would have done it already, but nah, 12 Mutas, he's got to. He's got to commit. He's got to commit to that +1 on the Mutas. I think right now maybe he's just focused on getting the units out. Lings and Queens struggling to deal with these Blink Stalkers, and Classic may be able to get a snipe on the 4th base. And more importantly, perhaps, there's Mutas going to pop from here. He will find out that it's Mutas soon enough. Ling's going to try to come in here. The recall goes down. 1 Horror Stalker left behind, and a couple will die. But the Mutas are scouted. Classic knows that Dark is trying it again. Bunch of gateways going down, and hey, look at that. A Phoenix being chrono boosted out immediately. Second Stargate Fleet Beacon right off the bat. But Dark never started +1. He does still have more Mutas coming, but no +1. I'm really shocked here that Dark is continuing to build Mutalisks. Oh man, and this time the Mutas are not finding that damage they're looking for. They are going to try to dive into this base. There's no shield battery to help out this cannon, but I think the Stalkers will get here in time. The cannon and Zealots holding on. Yeah, and Classic pushes that right away. Dark, still no upgrades coming down on this Spire, but continuing to build mutas. Is this a good idea from Dark? He has 18 mutas out. Double Phoenix production already started, though. Fleet Beacon is here. Anti-Impulse Crystals can start up. Stalkers can absolutely defend in the beginning stages here. No shield battery at this base is very painful right now for Classic. That cannon is going to go down very quickly. The Stalkers are here, but then the Lings dive into this base. This base, though, does have a shield battery and a few warp-ins of Zealots. Classic defending very nicely. This is going much better for him in game number 2. He's already up to 5 Phoenixes, still has double production, still has Anti-Impulse Crystals. We still just have mutas coming out of Dark. He's at 25. Jesus. Dark is actually insane. I love him so much. He's going to try to swap bases now, come in here and hit on this side. The Zealots getting caught out a little bit. Hey, that cannon's gone and was never replaced. 6 probes going down, and the Lings are still a threat here. But more charge lots warp, and it looks like they will clean them up. That +1 melee, not quite enough. There's the +1 flyer coming out of Dark, and those Corruptors finally showing their faces. The mutas have pulled all the way home. Where are the Phoenixes? Donde está? There they are. And this flock of Phoenixes is actually kind of scary. I'd kind of love to see Classic start up +1 for them. So Phoenixes can catch the mutas. They can shoot while they're moving. With the Anti-Impulse Crystals, they outrange them by like 4. I think it's 4. It's a very, very big difference. Oh, we might be able to see this first engagement between the two. Yeah, there's those purple lasers. Bit of a late pullback by Classic, but keeping these Phoenixes alive, trimming off a lot of mutas. The Corruptors coming out to try to bully the Phoenixes away, but the Stalkers and Zealots are here as well to help out. Oh, and I think Classic might have enough to push through. More Corruptors coming out here. A lot of Corruptors coming out. Going to really complicate things for Classic as he continues to build those Phoenixes and keep that Phoenix count up. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten into any Archons. I feel like Archons are really good here. Like 2 Archons, and this is such a different game. Like Dark's just kind of dead if there's 2 Archons here. But Classic's going to go ahead and kill a base. Dark's going to try to come in. He's going to try to fight this. There's not enough Lings, though, which means these Stalkers just have free reign to fight against the mutas. The Phoenix is trying to chase them as well, and that is going to be GG. Classic says, I will not let you beat me with mass mutas 2 games in a row. You son of a bitch. I'm not letting that happen. No. And we see why those mutas are a great response to Robo, but not nearly as great a response to Stargate into Twilight Council. What if Classic had 1 Archon? Yeah, 1 Archon would have been good. 1 Archon would have been good, but he didn't even need it. Didn't even need it. Wanted to focus on the Phoenixes instead and just warping in as many units as possible. Turns out he was right. Personally, I would have liked 1 Archon. 1 Archon would have been dope. Ling Muta, not particularly great at dealing with Archons. Yeah, it's true. You should follow and sub to Dave Testa for sure. 100% agree. All right, game 2.
He's a man, but he's also a
Dave
chicken.
gifting a sub to Roddy. Oh my God, Roddy is subscribed to my channel. What a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Dave. And Roddy, you know, welcome. You've been in my heart a long time, but now you're truly in the cock flock. Let's hop into game number 2, or 3 rather, where we're all tied up 1-1 on Ancient Cistern. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player for Dragon Kitesy, Dark. Opponent in the lower left for Twisted Minds. It's Classic. This probe feels Probe feels a little early. I think it is just a pylon probe, though, so not too early. Just here to block the old natural. Roddy is all of our dads, Mr. Corwin. Roddy is our father. Our father, who art in Rotterdam. Kevin be thy name. Thy StarCraft come. On I don't know. I've lost it. I've lost the plot here. I can't think of how the Our Father goes anymore. I'm a bad Catholic. But just know, Roddy is definitely God in that situation. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We know which one's the Father. To all of us. Little probe being annoying here. It looks like we have another standard macro game on our hands. I imagine we'll see Classic go for yet another Stargate. Why would you do anything else when your opponent seems hell-bent on going Mass Muta against you? God, a part of me wants Dark to go Mass Muta again, but like, this time wait a few extra minutes. Like go into Roaches or something, or even just like Heavy Ling, maybe get the Banes out. Get into a mid-game, and then just slammo-blammo into mutas. I want to see 20 mutas on the production tab. They've given us some good games so far. I don't know. It'd be kind of sick if Classic won this over Dark. Each player has one KSL win under their belt. Dark has quite a few losses though. He is currently 1-6 in the finals. So it might be time for Dark to take a second win. Although I don't know. I'd feel bad for Classic losing twice to Dark in the finals. A Void Ray. Wow, you just never see that these days. Classic going for the old Void. I feel like I've been seeing Phoenixes again just to clear the Overlords. But the Void Ray is a little more helpful against the Lings, helpful against any sort of cheeky move that Dark might go for. That Evo Chamber for Dark. Twilight Council and the Forge here for Classic. Maybe a bit more of a standard blink and +1 timing instead of going for that double upgrade action he was going for last game. I love how the Evo Chamber in the main is always for +1 melee. Who started this, and why is this the agreed upon place to get +1 melee? Any other upgrade that you want to get, your Evo Chamber goes down here. All of them. Unless you do like a double Evo Chamber, and then you might put them like here or here. But if you get one Evo Chamber in the back of your mineral line, it's +1 melee. It's always +1 melee. Why? How? Why does that happen? I don't understand. Maybe it builds faster because it's next to the spawning pool. You know, they help each other. Would that be a cool mechanic if buildings helped each other when they were nearby? They could make proxying less strong. Maybe it's like a good anti-cheese mechanic. The building's not in your base, it doesn't work as fast. I don't know. It seems kind of lame. I like proxies. Ooh, Dark gonna try to sneak in here and get some damage. There's no cannons or shield batteries in this base. Oracle gonna turn on to try to help defend this. Stalkers do not have blink yet though. And these Lings are just crushing through. They don't even have +1 melee. Dark just saw the opportunity and pulled the trigger. The Oracle is out of juice. This Void Ray is doing its damnedest, but it is gonna go down. A big recall to get everything out of here. These probes need to maybe not go back to mining right away. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, Zealots warp in. The Lings do run away. Probes made the right choice. Whew. Depth almost leaving that wall, but not quite. All these Zealots are just slow Zealots right now. Stalkers trying to warp in. Probes just getting demolished in half a second. 8 of them go down now that that +1 melee is done. And Dark on the other side of the map, droning up a little bit, but still not in a great spot economically. He's got these 2 bases, but he's only on 54 workers. Classic actually has more workers than him. More Lings coming in here, trying to get some damage done. This Oracle circling around over top, wishing it had some more energy. It actually does have a decent amount. I'm a little surprised Classic didn't turn it on that point. This Void Ray has 18 Zergling kills. What a champ. What a champ. Trades have definitely been better for Dark. He's got to be feeling pretty good about this. But that drone key, he's not smashing the drone key quite as hard as I expected. He's got a 3rd hatch in his main. Double macro hatch. And Dark is just wild. Look at him go. Look at him go. He's going back in. He's going to force a cancel on this base. This time the Oracle does turn on. All that energy it saved, but 4th base rather, still gets canceled. A lot of Lings going down. Dark just going to immediately replace them. He is still droning. But again, his economy not quite as strong as you might expect it to be in a normal Dark game. It is getting there. 75 drones out now. And Dark's getting into roaches. No mutas this time. I'm sure Classic's quite happy about that. Again, the Lings trying to just get some more probe kills. Not quite getting it that time, though. And it looks like Classic is starting to button up the defense. More gates coming down here. Charges on the way. +2, 2-2 actually, on the way here for Classic. Dark just building up a nice little Roach Ling army back at home. Sending some of the Roaches across. And Dark is just playing. It feels like he's playing so fast. He's just sending everything around, trying to find a little way in, getting some damage here and there on Classic. Still taking, I was going to say good trades. They're actually almost exactly even trades at this point. But that's okay since his economy has grown quite substantially over Classic's. Classic starting to push out with the Stalkers, though. He's got a few Zealots with this. The Oracle coming. Looks like Dark wants to hit a counterattack. Send a few units in, actually quite a few units into this 3rd. A few units over to this 4th base. Try to defend with the Lings and Roaches back at home. Does he have enough? A lot of probes starting to go down here. Zealots are warping in to deal with them. The Void Ray focus firing specific Roaches. It looks like Dark's going to buzz through these warp-ins. Oh, big blink forward from Classic. Feeling strong here. He's got a big warp in, but it's canceled by the Queens targeting that Prism down, and Dark takes the win with that. Oh my God. 26 probes going down on the other side of the map during all of that. Honestly insane. The mass link into just heavy Roach. So many Roaches. I really don't think that Classic was expecting that many Roaches on the other side of the map. The counterattack was huge, but there was enough to defend. Killing that Prism was just the final nail in the coffin. Dark showing he doesn't need the mutas. I don't even need mutas. I don't need air units, man. Ground units are good. Now we're heading to Neo Humanity for Game 4, what could be our final game. Dark is up on match point. Looking very strong, very solid. I feel like Classic has had, I mean, game 2 is obviously very good for Classic since he won that game. But game 1, I think, was good until the Mutas showed up, and game 3 was pretty rough though. That was Dark kind of manhandled him. The Lings just kept finding damage here and there, and it just felt like there was a never-ending supply of Lings. I don't know how Dark does that. How do you have so many Lings? I feel like when I play StarCraft, I'm like, all right, I have 12 Lings out. Dark's like, I've had 70 out. I don't know how he manages it, but spawning in the lower right-hand corner. I know my directions of Neo-Humanity. It is the aforementioned Dark, the Ling Man. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner needs to win these final 2 to win his second KSL. It is Classic. I wouldn't hate to see Classic bust out kind of a wild strat. But right now the meta feels like Protoss does their Stargate into Blink. And the Zerg's got to figure out how they want to try to stop it. And I don't know, that feels like a good thing for Dark. Dark's the kind of player who I feel like has so many weird little builds, and he can really stretch it out in so many different ways. He also feels like the kind of player that's happy to play like a fluid game. Like if things start changing up, I think Dark becomes very comfortable. We haven't seen a late game yet from these two. Like we had almost a late game in game 1, but not really. It was just mid-game units. I'd love to see a late game here at a Dark. I don't know if Classic wants to let him get there though. Dark's late game is insanely scary. And I imagine that Classic wants to try to keep him on early game. Or like mid-game rather, and I just try to take him down with the gateway units. I don't know. I just think Dark spellcaster control is going to be too strong for Classic to go into carriers or anything like that. They just have such a weakness to Vipers and Infestors and all the things Dark is good at. But then maybe Dark is the one who doesn't want to get to that late game. This is a very, very forward third base from Dark. It's nice and early, pre-3 minutes, you know, no messing around here. Wants to take this forward. Rich Vespene Geyser base. What could Dark be thinking? You know who I'd love to see on this map is Bly. I feel like a Bly proxy hatch here with Ravagers. That could be so much fun. Why don't we see that anymore? I know the answer is shield battery overcharge, but man, I'd love to see the proxy hatch with the rich geyser. If you saw this on a map, that was like Bly's map. You're like, oh, Bly's gonna pick that map every time his opponent lets him, and he is gonna proxy a hatch right there. Oh, this is interesting. Why is Dark breaking this down? I don't know, but these cooling towers don't have a lot of health. So even just these few Lings will bust through this fairly quick. I guess he's trying to stop anything from coming through the center. Or at least delay it. I don't know, certainly an interesting move here. Dark getting into Roaches right away, not going for the heavy Ling phase. Not too surprising when we see this Rich Geyser being taken. This is just an immortal drop. Oh, it's not just an immortal drop. It's an immortal drop with Zealots and a Stalker. Is this just 2-base robo play? Oh my god. What is Classic doing? Classic is busting out builds from 3 years ago. He borrowed Rail's book of robo builds Oh my god, this is incredible. All right. Spore Crawler trying to come forward, trying to stop this Prism from being able to do its fancy juggling. The Zealots are walking slowly forward. Oh my god, the Prism taking so much damage here. The Immortal doing its best from the back to try to gun through these guys. The Zealots, again, slowly walking towards the Queens and the Roaches. Spine Crawler is up. It gets transfused. Transfused is pretty good. Immortals are a little bit better. This Prism is very low, 32 hit points. It has to be so careful in this game. Oh, man. Dark feels a little bit on the back foot here, but he's got a lot of stuff still. He's pulling the drones to fight. The Prism too late to save the Immortal. The Immortal goes down, and now it's just Zealots and this one Stalker against all of this Zerg. Has Dark done it? Has he held? He does lose 9 drones, but he's got a third base. He's lost a lot of stuff, but Classic doesn't have much back at home either. He doesn't have these gases taken. He doesn't have follow-up tech. He's got 1 gas on 2 bases. There's no upgrades here. The Queens look like they've all gone down. That is pretty painful for Dark, but look at that army supply. Dark just has way more stuff. A big warp in from Classic, gonna at least put his stuff right on top of Dark. But I feel like these slow Zealots just aren't gonna get it done. Look at Dark, stuttering his steps as these Zealots desperately try to get back into the actual fight. Stalkers get lifted. We're gonna see a recall here from Classic. Dark now left with a bunch of units. No Queens, not a ton of drones. I feel like the answer for Classic is, or for Dark rather, is to push across the map, but he's feeling a little timid, a little afraid to do so. Sends the Lings across to see what's going on. There's no lair here for Dark. He's just building Queens right now. If Classic can sneak a third base, he'll be in a great spot. But if that third base doesn't show up soon, Classic is in a bit of a dire position. And I think if there's no third base very soon, Classic's going to have to all-in. Makes me wonder if a Twilight Council would be good here, but I just don't think there's time. I feel like Classic has to go before then. Meantime, Prism trying to get some extra damage done. Might look to hop into the natural, actually. I feel like it could be a good spot. Good vision here from Dark, really keeping an eye on everything. Another Immortal on the way. Classic, yeah, I mean, he's just going to fully 2-base all in. And do you see how many drones Dark has made? Not very many. He's up to 38. He's on even worker count with Classic. And I think he's just going to build units. I feel like that's a good choice. Dark sees that his move out is finally coming. Classic going for all-in number 2. Guys, remember, if your first all-in fails, try again. This is the mantra of Hero. Classic has learned from Hero, and he wants to dive back in. I really, really wish there was a Twilight Council because, man, Charge would be so good here. Look at these poor Zellies, dude. I don't know if I've ever seen 16 slow Zealots in my life. That is actually wild. Not that there's any roach speed or anything for Dark. The Immortal's going to drop out front. Need to be a little bit careful here. So many Ravagers. Dark wasn't messing around. Just spending all of his money on the good units here. Great cancel on that warp in to avoid the Biles. That is a crucial thing to do. Dark going to try to do it again. Doesn't even drop the Biles on the Prism, but forces the cancel on those warp ins. They're so late now. And I think Classic is in desperation mode here. Just going to try to push forward. Losing units to these Biles. Look at how much stuff Dark has behind this. It's not just the Ravagers. It's the Lings. It's the Roaches. Even the Queens can come in and be a part of this. And I think Dark has done it. He's going to win the KSL Week 17. Taking down Classic once again in the finals to do so. Dark improving his record in the KSL finals from 1-6 to 2-6 with his second win. Happy to see him finally take one. Maybe one day He'll do it against Hero, but today it was against Classic. GG's all around. What a game.